Hello, welcome to my 2022 NFL mock draft. This is my version 1. This is after the Super Bowl. This is after the Senior Bowl and before the Combine and before free agency. So here we go. A couple of things about this. This is what I think they will do draft. The draft picks will be shown in groups ranging from 3 to 9. And this is it from a Steelers fan perspective because I am a Steelers fan. First of all, let's talk about draft value real quick. Not going to spend a lot of time on this. And these are all non-quarterbacks because quarterbacks are kind of different. I have Aiden Hutchinson as my number 1 prospect, and I don't even think it's close. He has a very high ceiling, he has a very high floor, and he plays in a very valuable position. Nobody else has that combination of 3. So for that reason, he's my number 1 pick, and or number 1 value, and nothing's even close, to be honest with you. I mean, they're close, but he's clearly the number 1 guy. Now this group, the other group, I have 10 players, and to me, they all have about the same kind of draft value, so to speak, as far as, how good they are versus what position they play. So on the left is how good they are, and on the right is what position they play. Linderbaum and Hamilton, they're probably the best at their positions, but they play for the weakest positions. So when it's all said and done, they're all going to be evened out. The 2 exceptions, and I debated as to whether I want to put them in there, were Lloyd and Dean. Not that they don't fit in here as far as, skill and position, but they're hurt by the fact that there are a deep class of inside linebackers, and there will be some available early in the 2nd round. So if you're in the top 10 picking, you're not going to want to pick one of these 2 linebackers because you can get one in the 2nd round if you need one. You want to pick up one of these other great players. You'd rather have, it gives you your best chance of getting a couple of great players versus just kind of one. So I would have dipped them down just a little bit below everybody else. But this is just how I looked at it. This group is of 10, is how I look at it. So Jacksonville starts off with Evan Neal. They need offensive line help. They need to protect their young quarterback. And you know what I say, every time they draft for need, they're making a mistake. Hutchinson is the better player. He should be the pick by Jacksonville. It gives Jacksonville the best chance to get a great player. You win with great players. You can pick up average players anywhere. Evan Neal, he's probably going to be very good. He's probably going to be an occasional all-pro kind of a player. But not as positive as I am with Hutchinson. I think Hutchinson has a higher floor. I think he has a higher ceiling. I think he's a better prospect, and they have equal positional value. So I would take Hutchinson over Neal. Detroit takes Hutchinson, smart decision, best player available. Houston takes Thibodeaux. Everybody else has him higher than me. He's going to athletically, he's going to test off the charts at the combine. So he looks like a number 3 pick anyways, doesn't he? 4 through 10, I got the Jets at 4 and 10. We'll get their 10th pick a little bit later. The Giants at 5 and 7. Significant because they have 2 picks, really close, really high picks in the 1st round, and they're the interesting ones. What would I do? What would I do if I was the Jets? Well, if I was the Jets, I would take Hamilton with my 1st pick and then hope that my 10th pick, I can get myself one of those cornerbacks, either Ahmad Gardner or Stingley. So, catch whichever one drops to me at 10. That's what I would do. They take Icky, makes sense. Offensive line, help their young quarterback. The value's there. I'm not going to argue with it. I would just do it slightly different. The Giants do kind of what I would do. I haven't taken a tackle and then a center. They take the tackle because, I don't know, Carolina might take the tackle. Not likely they're going to take the center. The center is just lower positional value. Carolina is just not going to take a center. They'll take somebody else. So they take their tackle right now. Plus, somebody could trade up for Carolina. That's another thing that could happen. So Carolina, be safe. They'll take their tackle. Positional value makes sense. Everything's good. Plus, their plan is to come back and take Linderbaum. Boom. They have an offensive line set for the next 10 years. They turn a weakness into a strength. They have a stud running back who they've just helped out a lot. So you have a stud running back, a stud offensive line. That will help your quarterback. They take the offensive lineman. They're good. They're set. You don't have to worry about it. Atlanta, they're used to going for pass rush. They go for coverage skills now. They take Ahmad Gardner. Never gave up a touchdown in his college career. He has a higher floor, I think, than Stingley, but a lower ceiling. So it's all in kind of what you want. I want the safer pick. I want Gardner. If somebody wants to take Stingley here, I'm not going to argue with them. Green Bay, they're going to take Kyle Hamilton. Green Bay got this pick from Denver. because Denver wanted Aaron Rodgers, and this is part of the trade that they're going to make. So Green Bay takes Kyle Hamilton. This plus what they've already done, the defensive cornerback, is going to make them a great defensive backfield. And again, if you can get greatness at any one position, that's really going to help you. Carolina, Matt Rule, head coach, hot seat. If I'm the head coach and I'm on the hot seat, I want to do what I want to do to win my job, to keep my job. So I'm going to want somebody. I need a quarterback because I can't win with the guys I got. So I want a quarterback. So I'm going to take a quarterback that's going to help me keep my job. I want a guy that's going to help me win early, because if I don't win early, I may not be around for the middle of the season or the end of the season for when the quarterback gets good. I can't wait for a quarterback to be good in mid-season or wait for a quarterback to be good at the end of the season. I mean, I'll make it that far. I mean, I probably will. I think I will. I seem to get along with management, with the ownership and the general manager, so I feel pretty good about it, but I may not make it. I need to win early, I need to win in the middle, and I need to win at the end, and I need to be at the end. Everybody in the league saying, boy, Carolina, boy, they could be good next year. And the only person that gives me that chance is Kenny Pickett. So Carolina, the head coach standing on a table, pounding his fist, saying, give me Kenny Pickett, gets his man, Kenny Pickett. If he's the head coach, he deserves to get the guy that he wants. The Jets, right now, pick is obvious. Stingley, because they don't want the two linebackers. Stingley's the only one of that second tier that's available. The Jets need a cornerback, by the way. It's one of those ideal situations where the player you want falls into your position. But then they start looking, they start getting phone calls, because you see, there are other teams that want a quarterback. And this is a good spot to go, because Washington is one of those teams. So if you want a quarterback, if it's not, Pickett, you want one of the other quarterbacks, you might want to trade up for the New York Jets. Who wants a quarterback? Well, Washington, New Orleans, and Pittsburgh. So who do I think is going to make a trade? Well, this is kind of tough. Washington doing the one spot swap, I love it. Doesn't happen too often. Trubisky's the exception, but it doesn't happen too often, so it's not going to happen this time. New Orleans, I'm going to think, doesn't fall in love with the quarterback. I haven't seen where they've fallen in love with a quarterback. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. We'll see what happens in the future. My guess is that Pittsburgh wants Malik Willis more than New Orleans wants any quarterback. So they're willing to give up the most. The Jets, hesitant to make a trade with Pittsburgh, but once they work out the details, they're okay with it. Jets trade to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh trades to the Jets. New York gets first round pick number 20. They go down 10 spots basically, and they also pick up Pittsburgh's first round pick next year. Pittsburgh gets the Jets, 10 pick this year, and they also get a third rounder this year. Why? Because that's what the numbers work out on those value charts. The Jets are still getting the advantage, but it's closer now. They need a little bit more so they give up a third round pick. They're still going to have 4 picks. The Jets are still going to have 4 picks in the first 40. 2 high in the first round, or 2 in the first round, and 2 very high ones in the second round. So this third round pick is kind of a little bit of a luxury for them. Pittsburgh, they want the third round pick because it's a high pick. They're going to try to turn that around to a 2023 second round pick, so that essentially when they give up the first round pick, they've actually moved from the first round to the second round. That's how I look at it. Who knows how the trade details go, but Pittsburgh wants it more than anybody else. They move up to that spot. They take Malik Willis. Washington, they were okay with letting the trade happen because they wanted Matt Corral, and they figured it was Pittsburgh moving up and everybody else was going to take Willis, and they wanted Corral, so they're happy. Minnesota, Derek Stingley, perfect storm. The positional need and the very best player available, the unquestioned very best. I mean, you could put in Lloyd and Dean, but really, for their positional need, that's fantastic. Cleveland, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. I think they should take the linebackers. Everybody else hasn't taken a wide receiver. Everybody else has Garrett Wilson being number 1 guy. I'm not going to argue with it now. We'll see later. Maybe I'll disagree with this. Baltimore, Devin Lloyd. Baltimore has a history of taking the player that falls. Taking the best player available because this player fell. And when the fall usually stops? It usually stops at Baltimore. And Baltimore's going to take Devin Lloyd. And this is where this stops. And they get themselves a fantastic inside linebacker. And they know what to do with fantastic inside linebackers. Philadelphia, Kobe Dean. Philadelphia has 3 picks, 15, 16, and 19. One of the 2 picks, 15 and 16, has to be the best player available. You cannot draft 2 need positions in the first round in a row. It would be malfeasance. One of them has to be the best player available. I have him taken Kobe Dean. He's the best player available, number 15, no doubt. Now we're out of that. We're out of that tier. The Kobe Dean was the last one of that tier. So now we're into, what do you want? Well, it's really, a lot of this is totally in flux. I haven't taken a cornerback, Trent McDuffie. I have the Chargers taking Karlaftis, the edge guy, versus Jordan Davis, the 2-down stud nose tackle, because nose tackles are going out of the league. They're not first round. They're 2-player. It's a passing league nowadays. Yes, you want to stop the run, and yes, I would love to. As a Steelers fan, I'd love to have Jordan Davis on my team. But as a first-round pick, it just doesn't work in today's NFL. It's just not worth it anymore. He's a second-round pick going forward. If you have multiple picks, maybe, but the Chargers only have one in the first round. They need to get after Mahomes. The league's a passing league. They go after edge. New Orleans, they're not going to take the 4th quarterback in a week 4 quarterback draft. They're going to wait. Next year's supposed to be better anyways. So they make sure that he has an offensive line that knows how to play. They bring in the very versatile, very good Kenyon Green. I think he might move up higher than this, but this is where I have him for now. Philadelphia comes back and they take a stud wide receiver, my number 1 wide receiver, although I have a way to go before I really give you anything definitive. Next, the Jets at 20. They take Jamerson Williams. This could be the steal of the draft. He's going to have to, sit the bench for a little bit. He's going to be injured, not going to be able to play for about the first month or 2 in the season. But that's okay. You don't draft a rookie for what they do in a rookie year. You really don't. You draft them for what they're going to do in year 2, 3, 4, and 5 and going forward. Rookie year, yes, you want production. Yes, you want help. And especially the higher the pick, you certainly want it. But you're really banking on years 2 forward. On years 2 going forward. The Jets take Williams. They have a stud left tackle. They got a stud. So now they got a stud tackle. They got a stud wide receiver. They're good to go. New England, they usually draft front 7. Probably won't draft here at all, but I couldn't figure out who to trade him with. They take David Ajobi, edge. Raiders take Wyatt. Seems like that kind of a player. Arizona, I go after another wide receiver and Treylon Burks. Excellent wide receiver. Some people have him number 1. I haven't really looked at receivers yet, so I'm hesitant to say too much good or bad about any of them, to be honest with you. Dallas, Zion Johnson, it fits their team. They need to make sure that their offensive line is intact. Zion is versatile. He can play multiple positions. He's a good safety net and probably an eventual very good starter. Buffalo, Trevor Penning. I like the big guys up front. Tennessee, cornerback. And at this point, this is more of a player ranking than anything else. Chris Olave, wide receiver. Johnson, Green Bay. Hard to say he could move up, but then I could see any of these guys moving up. Andrew Booth Jr., Miami, Kansas City, George Pickens. Oh boy, that'll like the internet on buzz, huh? George Perkins. Oh, that could change things in Kansas City. Bernard Raymond, offensive tackle. Cincinnati, everybody knows that they need offensive tackle. And Detroit, because the Rams won the championship, they get Kaiir Elam. Not a lot of trades in my draft, only one. I don't really think we'll see a lot of trades because there aren't a great quarterback or the great outstanding prospect that you need. It's more of a gradual decline this year. It's more even. Even these guys down here at the back end, you can see them in the top 15, top 10 maybe come draft day. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how this thing pans out. They really are kind of even across the board. I have in my top 10, but we'll see what happens. Long way to go. Free agency will tell us a lot. Later. Talk to you later. Bye.